Okay,
All is
so for
ready?
your information, yes, we are already live on YouTube.
Mhm.
So how much more time before we can start admitting people? I think we can start
Already,
now.
because already now it's
Yeah,
already
yes.
2:31.
I think we can start admitting people, and I will send the link of the YouTube uh live stream on the WhatsApp group. Okay, is that
Yes,
okay?
yeah, and also, but it's not for uh how to say it. It's not for people who I don't know how to say it. What happened with me?
Wait, should I
It's
share
okay.
it in the Dalami Forensik DVC group, or should I share it on the Dalamic webinar short course, short and webinar and
For
short course?
our team,
Yeah, for today's live stream,
yeah.
live stream link.
So
Where should
I
I?
will.
I will share it first. I will share it here
Hello, can you
first.
hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Can we
Okay.
admit right now, people?
Can you please admit me? I'm trying to join with another device so that maybe I can be hearing.
Which one is it? Is it the
Okay.
Vcan who come where? Which one is what is the name of the account? Okay, this one.
It's the same name, I guess.
Okay, let me just unmute him. Right, but I cannot. I cannot give him any permission. Why so? Maybe he can unmute himself already. Yeah, now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
I
so I
think we
think
can
we are good.
start at the meeting people. What about the waiting room? Did you guys remove the waiting room?
No, people. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Anyone can admit. So we
All
are
right.
going. Yeah, because now I will get ready for that.
All right. I'm gonna admit Dr. Vital Gla Abuku.
Yeah.
There
Okay,
are
I'm
two more
starting.
people
Everyone, because the time
here.
already 2:34.
Okay, so I think it's better if I just remove the waiting room or just
Yes.
so anyone can just join. How many participants do we have, by the way, for today's session?
Who get and fill the form is 42.
Okay, 42. So we'll give maybe a lapse of time for everyone to come and join before we
Yes.
start the meeting, I guess. Yes.
Mm. Maybe you can close your share screen, Mr. Vincent. You can open it later.
Vincent, can you hear us?
Yes, I
Yes,
can hear
thank
you.
you. Yeah, thank you so much. We apologize for inconvenience and appreciate your patience because we were facing some technical issues earlier. So please bear with us for the next 5 minutes while we wait for others to join. And while we are waiting, I appreciate all of you to change or to rename your Zoom name as the format given before. We are about to start in 2 minutes. We are still inviting you to rename, to change your name on the Zoom so we can see from which country you are come from and your name as well. We are now going to start our webinar. I greet everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to today's webinar on robust anti-corruption strategies for developing nations towards accelerate socioeconomic growth in the modern world. My name is Ruth Floren, and I am honored to be your moderator for this session. We are delighted to have participants joining us from various countries. Thank you for being here and showing interest in such a crucial topic. As we proceed, I encourage everyone to maintain a professional atmosphere throughout the session. This will be especially important during our discussion segment following in the main presentation, where we aim to engage in meaningful and constructive dialogue. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker, Mr. Vincent Kanhu Kamwe. Mr. Vincent is an experienced lecturer with a proven track record of success in providing college-level instruction and delivering engaging auditing. Delivering lecture in the fields of financial engineering and forensic accounting and auditing. So Mr. Vincent is also a dynamic and knowledgeable lecturer with a strong background in mathematics, computer science, and data analytics. Over the years, he has extended his analytical skill into forensic science, specializing in financial forensic and risk management. He holds a Bachelor of Technology Honors degree in financial engineering from Harare Institute of Technology, Zimbabwe. And Mr. Vincent also graduated from MBA Forensic Accounting from National Forensic Sciences University, India. Certification in Forensic Accounting from West Virginia University, USA. Certification in Information Systems Auditing from Hong Kong University of Technology, China, and several other certifications. He provides consultancy in quantitative researches, fraud analytics, financial forensics, as well as financial risk management. So today, he will be sharing insight and strategies on how we can combat corruption to foster socio-economic growth in developing nations. Please join me in welcome Mr. Vincent Kanhu Kamwe. Now I will give this mic to Mr. Vincent. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam President. Welcome everyone to our webinar today, as we are looking at robust anti-corruption strategies for developing nations. And we are aiming to achieve accelerated socio-economic growth in this modern world. Once again, good morning, everyone. Okay.
Good morning.
Okay, is my presentation visible to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine, thank you. So as already been introduced by our Madam President, my name is Vincent Kankamwe, and I specialize in financial forensics and risk management. So today we want to discuss about anti-corruption strategies that can be implemented by developing nations, not only developing nations, but every other nation in the world, because you find that corruption is an issue that is affecting each and every country, as you will notice in the statistics that I'll share during the presentation. So as an introduction, what is corruption? Corruption is the abuse of entrusted power and resources And this abuse is done by an individual or by an entity. And their aim for that is to obtain a private gain. So when we say abuse of entrusted power, it means that it is the improper use of that power of resources that could have been used in another way, that could have benefited everyone and not only the individual or the entity. And when you see that the gain is private, it means that it is illegal somehow, and the entity or the individual is not interested in it being found out by others that they are gaining. So corruption includes a wide range of some unethical and dishonest behaviors, which means these behaviors, they are against the moral standards. And corruption can happen anywhere, be it in business, in government, in the media, the civil society, in every other sector of the economy. And corruption also, it can involve anyone, but usually the politicians, they are the ones that are associated with corruption. But basically anyone can be involved in corruption, either business people or ordinary members of the society. Now we've got various forms of corruption, and bribery is the most common one. And bribery is that act of offering or accepting money or gifts in exchange for some favorable treatment. So an example of bribery is when
Hello, Vincent?
or someone on a border post pays for the smuggling of some goods that are unregistered or that are not allowed by the officials. If they pay a certain sum of money, then we call that bribery, right? Another form of corruption is a kickback. So a kickback is a payment that is made to an individual or entities in exchange for referring businesses or contracts. An example of kickback is when maybe a pharmaceutical company pays something to a doctor so that the doctor can prescribe their medicines over the medicines of the competitors. So that's a kickback. And it is very unfortunate because sometimes you find that the medications that are being prescribed, they might not be up to standard, but just because a kickback has been received, the medications they are prescribed. So kickback is another form of corruption. Then another form of corruption is nepotism and favoritism. So usually this is done by people who have got access to jobs and contracts. So what they do, they favor their friends or their families and give them jobs. And this granting of the job or the contract is not based on merit, but it's based on the relationship. And at the end of the day, job positions, they are filled with people who are not necessarily qualified for the job, but that the person is filling the job only because they are related to the one who is offering it. So you find that all these forms of corruption, they are detrimental to the health of the economy, of the society, and every other aspect of our living. So corruption also adapts to different contexts and circumstances. That's why I find that in every country, there's a certain type of corruption that persists. And as rules change and as legislation change, as technology changes as well, corruption also evolves and changes such that bribers, they can become innovative and adaptive so that they So we have got what is known as the Corruption Perception Index. This is a score that is crafted annually by an organization called the Transparency International. So this index ranks 180 countries of the world and gauges how corruption is persisting in each and every one of those 180 countries. So in terms of the 2023 Corruption Index Perceptions Index, it showed that corruption was thriving across the world with an average of 43 out of 100. So the score ranges from 0 to 100. 0 is very dirty, which is very corrupt. Then 100 is the highest score, which is very clean. So we find that globally, the countries stand at 43, whilst the 2/3 of the countries, they scored below 50. And this is an indication that we've got some serious problems with corruption. What is even worrying is that the countries over the years did not make any progress in improving their corruption strategies. As we see in the next slide, we've got 28 countries that improved, whilst 34 declined. Then 118 countries, they stayed the same. So you can see that there's little progress in terms of corruption address in terms of corruption.
Hello, everybody. I guess our speaker is having some network issues on his side. Please keep connected. Thank you.
Okay, so we are encouraging everyone around the globe to say no to corruption, be it individuals, be it businesses, or any other entity. We need to shun corruption. Why? Because as you see in the upcoming slides, there are various social and economic costs that come as a result of corruption. So, on the effects of corruption, when people experience corruption, it is usually a very bad experience. Imagine that you have to pay something so that you can receive justice, or so that you can obtain an important document that you once um, maybe to go to another country or to obtain a certain deal. Imagine a judge ruling against a party, not because the facts are supporting that verdict, but just because someone is paid a bribe or they are from the same ethnic group. Imagine someone being detained just because they refuse to pay a bribe to a certain police officer. As people experience corruption, they suffer some personal loss, inconveniences, and on the other hand, those who perpetrate corruption, they tend to experience some personal gain and sense of superiority at the expense of others. So, what are the effects of corruption? When jobs or contracts are given to people or to some companies that would have offered bribes, it affects competition. Why? Because the person who is getting the job is not highly competitive, but just that they've paid a bribe. And those practices, they result in inefficiency in the economy because the most deserving candidates or the most suitable candidates, they are not given the job, they are not given the contract, but the contract is given to someone who is ready to pay for it. At the end of the day, the output that is obtained there from the job that is being done is of less quality because the job or contract is given not based on merit. So that's an effect of corruption. In another setting,
Hey everyone. We sincerely apologize for this inconvenience because our speaker is currently experiencing some technical issues. So we are trying to resolve this issue and like things will be fine. Please stay connected.
Okay, while we are waiting for the speaker to try to join again, we would like to announce for the upcoming event from Dalami Forensik. So in July, 21st of July, we are going to offer a webinar on digital forensics. And in August, we would like also to offer a webinar in neuropsychology for all the participants. You can also share this information to your colleagues, to your fellow colleagues, friends, or maybe if you do have your friends, your family relatives who are pursuing in neuropsychology as students and also in digital forensics, we would love you to share the information to them. Let's wait for a moment for the speaker to try to join again. We are trying to reach out for our speaker. I would love to invite a host to share the screen, and Mr. Vincent will use another device. Hello, Mr. Vincent, are you there? We are unable to hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now.
Okay, that's fine. So we were on effects of corruption. Sorry for that technical glitch. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, please.
Okay, that's fine. So we're talking about the effects of corruption and explaining how when people experience corruption, it is really a positive experience. And we just mentioned about the circumstances in which people might be required to pay some bribe. Maybe we can move to the next slide, please. And we discussed also that when jobs are being given to people, just because they've offered a bribe, it affects competition and it affects the efficiency of the economy, because we will not get the quality that we would have obtained had we given the contract or the job to a more suitable and qualified person. Right, maybe next slide, please. Okay, so we're here and we're saying that we have got people who are called investors and entrepreneurs. These people, they've got their resources, which they can channel to the economy so that there is economic growth, so that there are jobs, so that there are hospitals, so that there are businesses and entities that provide goods and services to the nation. But now these people called investors and entrepreneurs, they might be not willing to give out their money just because they know that they now need to maybe give a profit share of their business to some officials just so that they can get a deal, so that maybe they can get established. So the presence of corruption affects entrepreneurs, affects business enterprises, and make people less willing to start businesses because they will be afraid of facing too many hurdles. And at the end of the day, the nation suffers because of lack of even resources and services. And due to these increased costs, entrepreneurs, they are not interested in investing. And at the end of the day, our economies, they suffer. Next slide, please. Now, let's move on to some statistics which show the effects of corruption. In one report by the International Monetary Fund, they estimated that close to 2 trillion per year is lost as a result of bribery alone. And you find that this 2 trillion is actually 2% of the global domestic gross domestic product. And this 2% is actually able to sustain an economy, yet that money being channeled towards the national budget and or legitimate means of doing business. So that corruption is actually a problem in other nation. Right? Then we have a case in Nigeria where the people of Nigeria, they were deprived of around 1.1 billion. And this money went to corrupt officials instead of to the national budget. And we know that Nigeria is an oil-rich country, and people in Nigeria are supposed to be benefiting from their natural resource. But now we have got about 50% of the people in Nigeria living in extreme poverty. Why? Because they are not able to benefit from the resources that they have, simply because corruption is persisting and some top officials, they are benefiting themselves at the expense of the general populace. And we can see that this is a very worrisome situation whereby people are not able to enjoy the benefits of the resources that are in their country, but only the top corrupt officials are enjoying, right? And we have another issue in the next slide. We have another issue that occurred in Mexico. There was an earthquake in Mexico and about 40 buildings, they collapsed. Then some investigations by a certain group called the Mexicans Against Corruption showed that the cause for these buildings was that there were some laws that were bypassed, which could have stopped these buildings from being built at those places where they were built. So corruption and cronyism was responsible for the bypassing of those permit laws and land use laws. At the end of the day, there were some buildings that were built around a place that was not safe. At the end of the day, lives were lost, buildings were lost. Why? Only because someone paid their way so that they could build buildings, but yet at unsafe places. So you can see the effect of corruption there. We are saying, while there's no end to proving how wrong even petty corruption is on multiple fronts, it is important for us to find ways of curbing corruption so that we do not continue to suffer these economic and social costs that are associated with corruption. We saw the people of Nigeria, we saw the Mexico issue, we saw how much GDP is lost as a result of corruption. So that we have got some need to address corruption, not only for developing nations, but around the globe, because as we have seen from the perceptions index, that even globally, we are not doing quite well. So what are some of the strategies that we can implement so that we can fight corruption and achieve our economic growth? So the first one is to have robust legal frameworks. And when we say robust legal frameworks, we are not just talking about strict anti-corruption laws and regulations, but we are talking about strict adherence to those laws after they have been implemented. We need to make sure that we have got some legal frameworks that shun corrupt practices and hold violators accountable. We need to bring to book the people that are perpetrators of corruption. So if we've got robust legal frameworks, we will see that we will shun corrupt practices and we'll be able to hold violators accountable. Then another strategy that a developing nation or another nation can implement is to boost transparency. By boosting transparency, we are making sure that everything is laid down so that people and the public, they've got access to it. Promoting transparency and accountability in financial transactions, in government operations, can be boosted through requiring public entities to disclose their financial statements, their financial records, so that they are open to public scrutiny. And this makes them even more accountable so that they know that they have to answer to the public. But now, if there is no transparency, it means that people can offer bribes, people can accept bribes, and it's not known. But if we've got the need for transparency and accountability, you would see that people would shun away from accepting and offering bribes. Then we need to have oversight mechanisms. So when we talk of oversight mechanisms, we are talking about some independent bodies. For example, here in Zimbabwe, we've got the Anti-Corruption Commission. It's an entity that was started so as to monitor the activities of entities and individuals so that they can investigate corrupt allegations and impose sanctions on wrongdoers. And the main important thing on oversight mechanisms is that these bodies, they are supposed to be independent. They should not be influenced easily by politicians. They should not be influenced easily by even top government officials. These audit institutions, they are supposed to be given some power. They should be given some authority so that they can investigate corrupt allegations and impose sanctions on wrongdoers. Right. Then the next strategy is whistleblower protection. So what is a whistleblower? A whistleblower is someone who gives a tip or who gives a report to some illegal act or a crime that they would have maybe discovered. So according to the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, usually the majority of the cases that are booked, they maybe some fraud or some financial crime, most of them, they are discovered or detected through tips or through whistleblowing. So you can see that whistleblowing is a very rich way of detecting and putting to book some corrupt issues. So if we have got whistleblower protection, we are saying that we are giving those people who would have blown the whistle some legal protection and some incentives for reporting corruption. And we are safeguarding their lives even after having reported, because they are usually subjected to victimization or they can face retaliation. So if we provide some whistleblower protection and rewards for disclosing information, we will encourage people, or people are encouraged to report corruption. People are encouraged and given some confidence even to report and to bring perpetrators to the public so that they can be prosecuted. So providing whistleblower protection is one of the anti-corruption strategies that can go a long way in stopping corruption. Then promoting ethical leadership. So you find that each and every jurisdiction has got a certain culture that it has. But now we need to maintain a culture of integrity and ethics so that we can help our leaders manage what are known as ethical dilemmas. Because you find that as a leader, you might face some ethical dilemma, whether to act this way, whether to act the other way. So if they are trained, if they are associated with some maybe periodic appraisals, they can maybe improve themselves on their ability to stick to strict codes of conduct. And this will help them in making ethical decisions. At the end of the day, we would foster a culture of integrity and ethics in our leaders, because usually the leaders are the ones that have got power and they can misuse that power. Right. So promoting ethical leadership is another anti-corruption strategy that can yield results. Now, finally, we have got international collaboration. So we've got a lot of organizations around the globe. We've got the Transparency International, we've got the OECD, we have got the World Banks, we've got the IMF. All those entities, they can come together and they can share the best practices, and they can hold conferences, they can give some trainings to officials so that that collaboration will benefit all the parties that are involved around the globe. All right. Then this will help even recovery of assets that would have lost through corrupt practices. But all these things that we are talking as anti-corruption strategies, they do not work in isolation. We need to recognize that the greatest anti-corruption strategy is you as an individual telling yourself that you will not offer a bribe to a police officer. You will not offer a bribe to a government official. And we should stop expecting others to shun corruption, but we ourselves are the first people to shun corruption. Because if you go with your money and you offer it, the person will accept it. But if you tell yourself, I will not be corrupt, I will not offer a bribe, I will not offer a gift, then that will go a long way. it is high time that as developing nations and nations around the globe, we stop pointing fingers on who should stop corruption, but we should start it ourselves to say we want to cultivate a culture of integrity. We want to cultivate a culture of ethical behavior so that we will see our nations developing, we'll see jobs being given to people who deserve, we'll see contracts being given to people who deserve. And at the end of the day, we will build our nations for the better. And in the advent of technology, we have seen the growth of artificial intelligence, the growth of Internet of Things, the growth of quantum computing. All those things, they can be used to achieve economic growth. But if not used properly, they can be used as weapons to even drive more unethical behaviors. So we need to be on the guard and foster a culture in ourselves that would see us fighting corruption. And in subsequent years, we might find the global perceptions index improving from the 43 score that it is right now to a level which is above 50 and close to 100, just like Denmark is the best performing country in the world. We should also copy from them in how they are doing it so that we can drive our nations ahead. We have better houses, we have better infrastructure, we have better environments even for the businesses and attract foreign investments in our countries. That brings me to the end of my presentation today. I want to thank you for your patience and my sincere apologies for the technical glitches that you were facing. But otherwise, the floor is now open to questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vincent, for the insightful presentation. And for the participants, we are really apologize. We're really sorry for the what is happening during the presentation. And now we will open the floor for the questions. You can either type your questions in the chat box or raise your hand to open your mic and ask your question directly. We will address them in order they are received. For the host, our host, please, you can give the participants if anyone to raise their hand to ask a questions. Okay, I will read a question from Princess Nyamukapa from Zimbabwe. Fight corruption needs political will. How can one encourage political leaders in the fight against the corruption? Mr. Vincent? Mr. Vincent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have seen the question saying fight corruption needs political will. How can one encourage political leaders in the fight against corruption? Okay. Thank you so much for your question. So it's very true that fighting corruption needs political will because usually the politicians, they are the drivers of the things. But now, how can we encourage political leaders in the fight against corruption? Remember, politicians, they represent you. Remember, when you are electing a person to represent you in the parliament, you are bestowing with them some confidence, and you can always go to them and say what you stand for. So I would like to believe that one way of encouraging political leaders in the fight against corruption is to submit your views and submit your opinions to them. Remember, they are working for the people. Remember, they are representing the people. So whatever that they represent is deemed to come from you. But now, if you don't give to them what you represent, if you don't give to them what you think, if you don't give to them your submissions, they will just do anyhow. So I think what you need to do is to make your submissions to them, and not to stop and stop to think that they will just act morally or ethically by nature. You just need to make your submissions because they represent you at the end of the day. Right. I hope you got that.
I also want to invite Mr. or Mrs. Princess to unmute yourself if you feel wants to ask more. And another question for Mr. Vincent from Mr. or Miss Kabir from India. How can an agency provide safety for whistleblowers?
Okay, how can agencies provide safety for whistleblowers? Okay, thank you. So when someone is blowing the whistle, it means that they are trying to make a tip, or they are reporting that they found out some irregularity or some crime going on, some corruption. Now, the best way to achieve safety for whistleblowers is to maintain anonymity. They need to make sure that the identity of the whistleblower is hidden, so that they cannot be followed, they cannot be victimized. So they should have some platform. They should have some platform in which tips are given, whilst the people, they are not putting their contact details, they are not putting their identity details, so that at the end of the day, we will receive the message that there's a corrupt activity occurring there and there, but without knowing who has given that tip. That way, we would have achieved a safety for the whistleblowers. And during maybe on different entities, there should be some maybe, what can you call it, some suggestion box, or some areas where tips and suggestions are put, and from time to time they can just go there and retrieve, and this will help in accumulating more of those tips and more of those yes, tips from whistleblowers.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Vincent. From my side, I do have a question.
Okay.
So, yeah, we are right now, and everyone also encouraged to discuss this topic, because currently anywhere, I'm talking from my country, from Indonesia. I don't know if anyone here also joined from Indonesia in this webinar. So currently there is a case like corruption, because you were mentioned about a family, right? It mostly happen anywhere, yeah, anywhere, any country. So here right now, there is a case which is I forgot from which ministry, but he's the director and also entire his family. Imagine entire from great granddaughter also working in this institution like that. So from your side, what is your insight to avoid this thing as we are right now? When we learn this about corruption, we don't want to do it, right? So what is your option for us as we are right now growing and we also working in any institution like that? So we are not doing the corruption thing because many like temptation, right? It's kind of like temptation to do it like that. If right now, if someone's over your money, sometimes you forgot to ask from where that money come from, like that. Yeah, sometimes you blind, even though you can see, but you're trying to close your eyes. Yeah, I just want to hear from your insight, from your perception.
Okay, thank you so much. So it's quite true that around the globe, that situation is there. It's not only in your country, but everywhere else. We find that one official has got all his relatives. They are maybe employed by a certain organization. Maybe one person has got all his relatives in the ministry or everywhere. So, what can we do? You know, the issue of corruption is not it's not new. It has always been there, and fighting it is not going to be overnight. It takes time. It takes time. So, what we need is to continue to adhere to strict mechanisms, especially those of recruitment. Remember, if you get an opportunity, the next person that you think is your relative, is your brother, is your sister. But what we need to do is, before we think of our relative and our brother or our friend, we need to think of the qualifications that are required for that post or for that contract or for that job or for that position. I think with time, that's when we can start to see the results. But what we can do now is to try to start to adhere to the strict policies. Because remember, there are some criteria that are supposed to be followed when you are granting a contract, when you are granting a job. And if you bypass that policy, if you bypass that requirement, then that's when you end up having all those undeserving candidates filling up job posts. So what you can do now is to maybe try to improve our level of strictness as we adhere to policies that require us to employ people on merit or to grant contracts on merit. And I tell you, if we have a lot of people who are determined to adhere to strict requirements, who are determined to follow the procedures, I tell you, we have less and less of those corrupt issues. It's not something that will happen overnight, but it will happen over time as we try to maintain strictness or adherence to the policies and legal requirements of contracts. So yeah, that's what I can say.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vincent. And we do have here two questions. I'm going to read. Explain the role the independent anti-corruption agencies in strengthening institutional frameworks. What are the critical factors for ensuring their effectiveness?
Okay. Thank you so much. I've seen the question. So we have got some anti-corruption agencies around the world. And here in Zimbabwe, we have got our own, the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission. And these agencies, they've got a very pivotal role to play in the fight against corruption. But their effectiveness now is dependent upon some critical factors. And your question is on what are those critical factors? So from my perspective, there are about two critical factors. The first one is independence. As a body or as an agent, the Anti-Corruption Commission is supposed to be independent. By independent, I mean they should be free from influence. They should not be infiltrated. Because just like an auditor, if you go to a company and you are auditing the company, yet that company is your brother's company or your wife's company or your relative's company, obviously your independence and your objectivity is affected. So independence is a very important factor when you look at the role of anti-corruption agencies. So how can we achieve independence? We need to make sure that the agents, they are made up of maybe people of various expertise and various levels of experience in it, so that we do not have people who have got a myopic view of things when they're investigating corruption, so that we don't have people who have got a narrow view or perspective of things when they are investigating, right? So independence is the first factor that is required for an anti-corruption agent. They should not be easily diluted. They should not be biased. They should not be skewed towards a certain sector of the economy or a certain geographical location, but they should be balanced so that we have some variety in the team, which will bring maybe a balanced view of things, right? Then we should have maybe gender balance in that agent, so that we have got a maybe equal representation, right? Then another factor that affects the effectiveness of an anti-corruption agent is the authority that is bestowed upon that agent. Remember, the agent might be there, but if they are not empowered, if they are not given authority, even to investigate, if they are not given the authority to maybe arrest, they will just be an entity that is there, but that is powerless. So an entity is supposed to be empowered so that it becomes even fearsome, such that when people hear of that agent, they said, oh, if those guys come here, it's going to be very troublesome for you. But now, if it's just an entity that is not fierce, it's not scary, then it won't be able to deliver results. So we need to have an entity that is empowered, so that it becomes something that is respectable even in the eyesight of the public, so that when they know that the entity is coming to make some investigations, they will know that they mean serious business. And it only comes from having laws and policies and maybe laws that empowers those agencies. And I think that way we can have an effective anti-corruption agent.
Okay, the last one is also from Peter Sand. what is current subscription from developing countries in as far as implementing whistleblower protection legal frameworks is concerned, given the whistleblower have continued to be victimized in one way or the other?
Okay. Thank you for that question. So this one is quite an issue now. The issue of protecting whistleblowers. We have seen that we have got countries around the nation, but specifically the developing nations, as you have mentioned there. We have got Botswana, we have got Namibia, we have got Rwanda, we have got Uganda. These countries, they have got the Whistleblowing Act. And in Botswana, they call it the Whistleblowing Act. In Namibia, they call it the Whistleblower Protection Act. And in Uganda, they call it the Whistleblowers Protection Act. So these acts, they for now they have been achieved a lot of results from in terms of protecting whistleblowers. That's why you see that we have got a little we've got little cases, or we've got a little progress that is being done in bringing to book the perpetrators of corruption, because people, they are shying away from whistleblowing. So the problem is that we have got those acts, but now when it comes to implementation of the act, when it comes to the actual doing of what is written in the act, we are found wanting. So currently, I can say a lot hasn't been done, despite those acts being present. A lot hasn't been done to stick to what the acts say in terms of protecting whistleblowers, in terms of their identity, in terms of protecting them from victimization. So my submission there would be, we need to have the willingness. You see, policies are there, acts are there, but the willingness to adhere to those policies, the willingness to adhere to those guidelines, that is what is lacking. So what we need is to improve on the implementation of those things, so that maybe we can see people being actually protected, we can see people actually being rewarded, we can see people actually being protected from victimization in one way or the other. So yeah, that's what I can say.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Any question? From the participant? Okay. Thank you so much for the discussion that we are having about corruption for today's webinar. I really appreciate and thanks to all the participants, especially for our speaker. So now I want to I have a few announcements before we conclude. First, we encourage again to all to all attendees to fill a feedback form We value your input and would appreciate it if you could take a few minutes to fill it out. Because the certificates of the participation for this webinar will be issued based on the information you provide in the feedback form. If you wish to share any pictures or screenshots taken during the webinar, please feel free to do so, to send to the group chat, because currently we are open to everyone to drop a message, share your pictures that you are taking during the webinar. Again, we are also excited to announce again for our next webinar in July. It will be happen in 21st of July. We are going to talk about digital forensics. And in August, we are going to talk about neuropsychology. We would love you guys to share this information to your friends, fellow workers, your colleagues, relatives, and your family, everyone, to join for our next webinar. Lastly, we would love to take a group picture. So if you are comfortable, please turn on your camera so we can capture this moment together. Maybe host can help to make the participants able to open their camera, or also to unmute
Yeah,
themselves.
it's already enabled. Everyone now have the permission to turn on their camera and their microphone as well again.
Yeah. I really appreciate, and if you're comfortable to open your camera.
Otherwise, you can mention in the chat box if you're unable to do so. Then I will help you out.
Because it's still morning in many countries. I really appreciate your time to attend our webinar for today. Our host, yes, because we are not many here, so I really appreciate if you're comfortable also to open your camera. Okay, our host, please help to take the picture. Host. Where is our host right now? Maybe Miss Puja, could you please help us to take the picture? And everyone say please.
So
And
everyone, please smile. And 3, 2, 1, smile. Again, one more time. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
you all once again for joining us today. A special thanks to our speaker, Mr. Vincent, for his valuable contribution for this webinar. We hope you found this session informative and engaging. Have a great day ahead. See you all at the next webinar, and may God bless you. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
I think I got disconnected. I didn't take the picture.
It's okay. Thank you so much.
Hello. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, we are hearing you. It's okay. We already captured the.
Like I mean, was I in the picture? I'm not sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Thank you, Miss Nomalangga.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Is Irina there?
We already take a
Irina,
picture.
are you there? Oh, okay. That's okay.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you so much, and see you on the next week. Don't forget to share your pictures our group chat. I would invite the team still stay here so we can talk more about this. Thank you, everyone. You can leave the meeting and see you all. Bye-bye. Our bye-bye, everyone. See you. Bye-bye. Yes.
Hey, Vincent, that was a great presentation. I loved your explanation. It was really on point. Like, you just answered the questions.
Okay, thank you.
Mm.
The connection was, it was
Yeah. I think we should have tried it out before actually starting the meeting, like, sharing the screen while talking.
But yeah, it's a
But
learning
don't
curve
worry.
as well.
Yeah. Yes. It's all lesson learned. By the way, is Irina there? I cannot hear him. Is he talking? Oh, who's calling me? Ruth, did you call the group?
Yeah, she's calling.
All right. I cannot. Can you make me the co-host, Vincent? Or I think we need to stop the live streaming as well as the recording. If you can do that, any one of you can do that. Or maybe Vincent only can do this. Okay, and then the live streaming as well.
I'm not able. So
Yeah, it's only the host, I guess.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
Vincent.
Vincent, can you make any one of us the host?
Yes, please.
Just right click on a name and then just make them whoever you choose to be the host. Sama naman sa nila.
Vincent, or you can do one thing, you can end the call,
Oh.
then
We change. Okay, like this.
Oh, yes. Wait, he's still the host. I think he's host from his phone, I guess.
Okay. Let me do like this. Okay. Puja.
Yeah. Now Puja's the host, so now you can stop the live streaming.
All right. So,
Mhm.
yeah, let me end this call. Okay?
Yeah, we can do that as well.